Hey friends, welcome back. So over the past few days, you should have been working on your project. So you need to make sure your project is good and going. If you have questions about it, if you're struggling, please email me. I will be more than happy to schedule a video conference with you later today or tomorrow, okay? So online kids, y'all need to make sure that your table of contents, nope, y'all, tired. You need to make sure that your project is going well and you're doing good on it, okay? It is going to be due soon, and um, actually, it'll be due Friday. Friday. It's due Friday, and it's a test grade. So make sure you got it done. Make sure you're working on it. If you have questions, let me know. Okay, so I'm going to go over Unit 8, Lesson 3. So those of you, my on-campus kids that are displaced today because I'm giving the algebra. No. Y'all, my brain is in too many places right now. Because I'm giving the English 2 benchmark today. For those of you that are displaced, you need to watch this video. Use the notes to help you do the activity, okay? So watch the video. We will update our table of contents when we come back to class later this week, okay? So tomorrow we will be working on the project in class. All right, so Unit 8, Lesson 3. This is going to be domain and range. Domain and range is something we already know how to do. We've done it a couple times already this year. We're just going to talk about it with just quadratics this time. So on Lesson 3 down here we go. Here's my Unit 8 Lesson 3 notes. We can find domain and range given different things. So the first part that we're given here is a graph. So when we're looking at a graph, our domain, if we remember, is all of our x values. Our range is our y values. And so when we do a domain, it's going to be from left to right. And range is bottom to top. Okay, so for the domain, we're going to start on the left-hand side of the graph, and we're going to look at that point and say, what is my x value here? So what is this x value? Well, it looks like we have -4, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is -5, 6. So my x value is -5. And then I'm looking at this endpoint right here. Is it equal to or not equal to? Well, remember, if we have open circles, that's not equal to. If we have a closed circle, then it's equal to. We're always going to use these less than symbols. As long as you go left to right, you're going to use less than symbols every time. So domain, we have -5. It starts at -5, and it's going to be an open, not equal to because it's an open circle. And then it's going to go all the way to the left. So the furthest left it goes is right here. And that is these are x values. We talk about x. And then we have 2 on the other end. And then at this endpoint, it's closed, so it's going to be less than or equal to. Okay? Then we can do range. Our range is going to be bottom to top. So I'm looking at the bottom of my graph, so wherever the vertex is, and we're going to look at that y value. So this y value is 1, and this is a solid line. So if we have a solid line, if it's a broken line, then it would be not equal to. If it's a solid line, we're going to be less than or equal to. We're talking about y values with range. And then we're going to go all the way up to the highest point on the graph. So that's all the way up here. We're not going to stop down here. Go all the way to the highest point on the graph. And that is at 11. Nope. These are going up by 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's at 17. And again, this is a closed circle, so it's equal to. So then our second graph, we're going to do domain, which is left to right. The right color, here we go. So left to right. So on the left-hand side of the graph, there's an arrow. That means it's going to keep going forever and ever and ever in that direction. On the right-hand side of the graph, I have another arrow. So it's going to keep going forever and ever and ever in that direction. So here we say this is all real numbers. Our range is bottom to top. So the bottom of my graph, my y value here is 0. It's going to be less than or equal to because it's a solid line. We're talking about y values. And then at the top of the graph, we have arrows on both sides. So it's never going to stop going up. So that's it. It's my range. All right, so then we have we have some points, a table. We can find our domain range from the table. So we have these points and we have a graph. So first let's put these points on the graph. So quadratic function containing the following points. So this is a quadratic function. We know it's a function, so we're going to put the points on the graph and then we're going to connect all those points, make a line. So we have 3, 1, nope, sorry, -2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So here's a point here. Let me zoom in a little bit so we can see this better. Here we go. Then we have -1, 0, so there's a point. 0, -1 right here. 1, 0, and 2, 3. So this line is going to look something like this, and I don't have anything telling me that it's going to stop anywhere, so I'm going to put arrows on both ends. So since I have arrows on both ends from left to right, we have all real numbers. And then my range is bottom to top, so my bottom value here was at -1. It's a solid line, so we have equal to. And we're talking about y values, and then we have arrows, so we're going to keep going. So there's my domain range from a table. All right. Next thing we have is an equation. If you're given an equation, anything with quadratics, use Desmos. Desmos is going to be your best friend. You get to use Desmos on the STAR test, okay? Make sure you're using the version of Desmos that's posted in Canvas, in my Canvas, okay? I've showed you guys before in videos how to find it. If you don't know, then you need to email me, okay? All right, so we're going to put this in Desmos, and it's going to graph it for us. We don't have any endpoints, so that means these lines are just going to keep going forever and ever and ever. If we kept going all the way up this graph, these lines are never going to stop, okay? So again, since it's going, we have arrows on both ends, they're going to keep going. Then my domain from left to right is going to be all real numbers. Let me change that back to the other color so I'm staying consistent here. Then my range is going to go from bottom to top. So I'm looking at the very bottom of this graph. My y value here is 0. And then I have arrows at the top, so it's going to keep going. This is a solid line. We have an equal sign, so it's going to be solid. So my range is going to be 0, less than or equal to y. We can also write this as y. Remember, this symbol has to be facing the same, has to be open to the same thing, so greater than or equal to 0. These are both correct, okay? All right, so from a verbal description, a quadratic function that has a maximum at 2, -3. So I'm going to graph this point. This is my maximum, and so that means it's going to be my vertex when we're dealing with quadratics. So 2, -3, which is going to be this point right here. And that's my maximum. Since it says maximum, that means my graph's going to open down. That's the highest my graph will go. So the rest of it, I don't even care what it looks like in either direction. It's going to have arrows on both ends, but that's the highest it will go. So my domain is going to be all real numbers. My range is going to go from the bottom, so there's nothing at the bottom. The bottom, it's going to keep going forever and ever and ever down. So then I don't have anything on this side of my y. So I'm going to have y, and then I'm going to go all the way up to the top. Is less than or equal to, and where does it stop? At the very top, and that's at -3, which it tells me that value right here. Okay, so if it says maximum, then I'm looking at this number right here. That's going to be y is less than or equal to -3. And then if we have a minimum, well, this point is going to be at 1, 2, so right here, and it's a minimum, so that means it's going to open up. That's going to be the lowest my graph goes. Again, we're going to assume we have arrows, so this is going to be all real numbers. We can say ARN, all real numbers. And my range is going to go from bottom to top. So my bottom value, my bottom y value there is 2 and less than or equal to y. So my bottom value is the y value of my vertex. Okay, so this will happen every time. Your lowest value for your y is going to be the y value of, when you have arrows on both ends, the lowest or highest value will be the y value of your vertex. Okay. All right, so that's domain and range. Next thing you need to do, everybody needs to do this, is go to Canvas and go to modules. And work on I don't know why it's taking forever to load. There we go. So work on finding domain and range. So this is a Desmos activity. You're going to click on the link. You're going to log in using your Gmail account. Make sure you keep your name in there and hit submit, because otherwise I can't give you credit if your name's not on there. And work through the whole process. Remember, I can see everybody's work. I can see where you're at. I can see what you've typed. I can see all of the things that you do on this assignment. So make sure you do all of the work all the way through, read the directions, answer the questions, and at the end, all you have to do is close out of it. It saves your work as you go. So just close out of it, and I'll be able to see it on my end. If you have any questions, then reach out to me and let me know. For those of you that are on campus, I hope you enjoyed your day in another classroom, different scenery, and I will see you back in class tomorrow. See you later.